Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today we're moving on to video number 11 on my Beginning Gardener series. Now, the last video I did in this series talked a little bit about seed storage and seed purchasing and whether or not you should buy transplants or grow seeds yourself. So these next few videos are for those who would like to try growing seeds on their own. Now, the first thing you need to think of before you start growing seeds on your own is your setup. Now, there are certain things that are necessary, certain things that are not necessary, things that you can do a lot less expensive than others. You can just do what is most comfortable for you. Now, what I'm going to do is take you through my grow room, show you what I have, and explain how I started and why I have what I have. So here we are in my grow room, and in this video, we're just going to discuss racks and fans and lights and heat mats. Now, you can start seeds without any of these things. When I first started Seedlings, I actually started them on this rack. I just had a little plate with a few cups, and I started seeds in front of a west-facing window because I don't have a good south-facing window, and did not have very much success at all. I had a little bit of success, but I was missing out on several different elements, and the elements were good lighting and airflow. So we're going to talk about what you can do to solve those issues in several different ways. Now, the next place I moved to when starting seeds, and sorry for the striped effect, that's one bad part about the lighting in here, but the next place I started was this table in a darker room. Now, the setup that I had then, and I'll show you a little bit kind of what it looked like. I think I have a picture of that I'll put up on the screen. This setup worked pretty well. I created a PVC pipe contraption to hang my grow lights, and I used these lights right here. These lights are the Ferry Morris, I think they're T5 lights. They're not very strong, but they were perfect for starting seeds, and I had a lot of really good success with this. Now, I wanted to be able to start more seeds, so I needed to up my game. So that's when my son moved out, and I purchased this seed rack first. So I just had one seed rack and went online, did a lot of research on lights, and they said you could start seeds with LED lights. So I went and found some cheap LED lights. I think these were like $48 or something like that on Amazon. This was 2 years ago. It was a pack of 8, and you can see that they work beautifully for seedlings and for green plants. Now, we have a huge amount of basil here. I'm not going to be using all this basil for myself. I'm growing this basil for a function. But you can see how beautiful it looks just under these cheap LED lights. And they grow lettuce and kale and basil. Even the onions are doing really well under these. These are my succulents that I'm propagating, and they do really well here too. So the cheap LED lights, if you want to grow greens or just start seedlings, those are perfect. Now, the next lights I graduated to, and sorry for the striped effects, but these are from Walmart. These are Walmart LED lights, and they are 5,000 Kelvin and 5,000 lumen. So if you're looking for them on, you can purchase them online through Walmart. I think it's $58 for a set of 2. Here, I'll put a link up on the screen to show you where you can get them. But these have worked beautifully, and I don't really feel like I need any other lights. They hang from my rack. You can put chains on them for any length, and you can raise them and lower them using the chains. Because for seedlings, you definitely need the light closer to the seedlings so they don't stretch. Let me show you a picture of a stretched seedling on the screen here. Now, if a seedling does not get enough light, it will keep growing up and up and up looking for that light. And when it's stretched like that, there's really not a lot you can do for it, and it ends up being a weak plant and does not grow well. So you don't want stretched seedlings, so you need to have a good light that you can lower or raise. So I basically use chains to lower and raise these lights. And I also just have different levels on my rack so that I can move seedlings back and forth to where they're going to grow the best. But let's show you what this grow light has produced here. We have little dwarf tomatoes. Pardon how they look right now. They're being grown in really bad soil, and I'll link a video at the top about what happened with that. But even in the bad soil, they're flowering and they're fruiting. I've been harvesting a ton of fruit off of these. Here's some peppers. I just transplanted this pepper into better soil and transplanted this one into better soil a little while ago, so we're getting some really good new growth and we're getting flowers on it. And let me show you down here. Let's turn this light off so that you can not have as much of the striped effect. But as you can see, we are getting peppers. We're getting peppers under these grow lights. We've got kale and chijimisai and Swiss chard. Up here we've got dill and peas and I think these are radishes. Over here I've got the lights off, but under the same cheap lights, look at how many tomatoes are being produced. We've got some newer dwarf tomatoes growing and some cucumbers. So these LED lights have worked beautifully for what I need. The next level up, and sorry for the brightness, are these Sensei grow lights. Now you can attach these to just a light holder. It's a shop light holder that you screw the bulb into. And you can also add a reflector to that if you want. When you buy these shop light holders, they do have reflectors that come with them. And these are strong enough to be able to keep my fruit trees alive and healthy and fruiting. You can see that we've got lemons down here. Got lemons started over here. You know, there's one down there. So I needed a stronger light than the Walmart grow light for my fruiting trees. Now when it comes to racks and grow lights, there are so many different options. Now you can go for the cheaper versions or you can go for the really expensive versions. It just depends on what you want to accomplish. But you do need some sort of grow lights to start your plants. So grow lights are very important. Now when it comes to where you want to start your seedlings, I like racks because they promote airflow and I can put a lot of plants on them. You don't have to have racks, but the one thing that I would be careful of, don't put your plants on something that you don't want to get dirty, because no matter how careful you are going to make a mess. You saw that I have a towel on my table, and that's just to contain and all the messes that I make and make it easy to clean up. So definitely don't use something wood or something that you don't want to get messy. So now let's talk about heat mats and fans. Now there are a lot of different fans that you can get. There's a ton of different cheaper fans that you can clip onto the sides of your racks. You can chain them to the sides of your racks, whatever you need. I've just been using this Vornado. I absolutely love this. This is something that I purchased almost 20 years ago, and it's still going. Now I like it because it's oscillating. It hits every single area in this room, and I don't need another fan. Now why would I need a fan? As you watch the fan go over each of these plants, you can notice that they're moving a little bit. And what that does is help strengthen the stems, so you have nice strong stems as they grow. Another thing that it does is it helps reduce the chance of fungal diseases because it keeps the humidity at a more bearable level. In this room, with all these plants and all the water in here, it's quite humid, but I don't have any problem with fungal diseases because of the fan. Another thing that it helps with is it keeps the fungus gnats in check. Fungus gnats are really tiny, and when the fan blows them around, it reduces them. If you've watched my videos for very long, you know that I've been on a huge battle with fungus gnats. These sticky traps are a month old, and you can see that we're not having fungus gnats on them. So I think we have a couple here, but I think we've won the battle with fungus gnats, and we'll cover that in another video on what I did and how I did it. Now another thing I want to talk about is heat mats. I have used these Ferry Morse heat maps. They're not very expensive. I get them at Home Depot and Walmart, and they have worked beautifully. Now heat mats are not vital in starting seeds unless you want to start peppers or tomatoes and you want them to germinate quickly. Heat mats really, really help with plants like that, the more tropical plants that have a hard time germinating that need heat to germinate. So heat mats work really well. You can also get full-sized heat mats like this. This heat mat was not that expensive, but I use it a lot. Right now it's plugged into my temperature gauge. You can see that it's 85 degrees in the soil inside my figs, mostly because of the temperature in the room. It's another good reason for a fan, is it helps when it's really hot in here. But heat mats really help with a lot of different things. So you don't have to have heat mats to start seeds. If you don't have enough money for heat mats or don't want to do that expenditure, it's not necessary, but they're very, very helpful. So that's what I wanted to cover in this video. I wanted to cover just the basics of what you could get for seed starting. And don't be afraid to start on your kitchen counter with a little tiny light over the top. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and you need to find what works best for you. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If it has been helpful for you, please like, subscribe, leave some comments down below, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.